go ahead and get started by taking a look at what is Hour of Code. So Hour of Code is a nationwide initiative to introduce millions of students to an hour of computer science and programming every December, the first week of December. The goals of the Hour of Code is, first of all, for students to have fun while engaging in computer science, and to get them excited about learning computer science, which hopefully then will encourage them to sign up for more computer science courses when they reach middle school and high school. But the main focus, especially for elementary, is for students to have fun and to get to know what they can do with computer science and programming. So a couple of things to know in order to prepare to run an hour of code in your classroom. You're going to need a tablet or laptops or Chromebooks, as well as headphones for several of the lessons, especially for the lower elementary one. You will need headphones in this case. And it's important to make sure you have enough for each student. If you don't have enough for each student, students can always pair up and share a device as they're programming. For Scratch Junior, which is the platform that will be used for lower elementary students, that would be kindergarten through second grade. Scratch Junior can be accessed on iPads and Chromebooks just by going to the App Store and downloading the Scratch Junior app. But if your kindergarten through second grade students don't have access to iPads or Chromebooks, you can also use this link and download Scratch Junior to be used on desktop computers as well. And in order to work on a Scratch Junior program together today, it's a good idea to go ahead and click on this link now, and you can start to download that in the background as we continue discussing this morning or this afternoon. For Scratch, you can access it on any desktop computer by visiting this website. And for Scratch, this unfortunately is not able to be accessed with an iPad, so students will need a Chromebook or a desktop in order to access Scratch. Okay, so getting started with our elementary hour of code options. We have two lessons that you can access. One is lower elementary, which is kindergarten through second grade, and one is upper elementary, which is third grade through fifth or sixth grade. And you can find both of these lessons on the Hour of Code part of the CodeHS website. So you can see that here, and that's codehs.com/hour of code. And on this, you are going to see all of the Hour of Code lessons for middle school and high school, as well as elementary. So if you are looking to do an elementary one, you can scroll all the way down and you will find the upper elementary drawing with Scratch and the lower elementary program and adaptation with camouflage lessons here. Let me hide these. Okay. So we're going to take a look at both of these lessons today. When you click lesson plan, it will open up the lesson plan so you can see how to work through that lesson with your students. So this is just an example of what you're going to see in that lesson plan. The first thing is going to be a link to a teacher overview video. And this is a video specifically for you, the teacher, to watch. And This will just give you the basics of what this program is, how to work every part of the program so that you can best help your students. You're also going to see a little computer science explanation here, which talks about any of the specific computer science skills that students are introduced to in the lesson. Any links that you need for this lesson are going to be in materials and tools. That includes a link to where you can download Scratch Junior, where you can access the lesson slides so that you can present to students, as well as example programs, so that you can see what the end result of this program should look like for students. Lesson preparation gives you all of the information you need to know to prepare to teach this lesson to your students as well. Further down the lesson plan, you'll see it provides you a step-by-step steps and scripts to bring this lesson to your students. And there is also a box towards the bottom, which gives you a couple of troubleshooting tips specific to that lesson. So if students are having a certain problem, it's likely going to be one of these ones. And there are some answers so you can help guide your students to debugging. There's also some extensions at the end. So if students have extra time, or if your class has finished early, they can take a look at these and extend their program a little bit. Okay, so that's where you can find the Hour of Code lessons. And again, the lesson plan includes the step-by-step directions. It includes slides, example programs, extensions, basic troubleshooting. And if you would like to take the activities students are doing for a grade, there's also a rubric at the very bottom of the lesson plan. Okay, so now we are going to go into each of the elementary lessons specifically and work through the programming element together. Again, there are two lessons for Scratch Junior. The lesson is Programming and Adaptation, Camouflage, and the Scratch lesson for grades 3rd through 6th is Create a Drawing App. First, let's take a look at the Scratch Junior program, Programming and Adaptation, Camouflage. In this Hour of Code, students are going to use the Draw tools in Scratch Junior to make an animal blend in with their environment. They're going to use on-tap event blocks and say blocks to create an interactive program. For this lesson, there's a couple of things to keep in mind. For students to use the say block, it's a good idea that they be familiar with how to type on a keyboard so that they can type out what they want the lizard to say. If they are not proficient in typing on a keyboard yet, they can also record themselves using the microphone block, which we will take a look at together in a moment. If you are having them use the microphone block, it is a good idea to make sure that all students have headphones and to set up some guidelines ahead of time, just to make sure the classroom doesn't get too noisy. And again, for this lesson, which is Scratch Junior, students will need the Scratch Junior app on their tablets or Chromebooks, or the emulator downloaded to their desktop computers. All right, the computer science skill that students are learning in this first lesson is events. And an event is something that triggers an action to happen in a program. So in this example, an event could be that you press a button and then the action is that the character jumps. We're going to use a similar event in the program today. Students will be using an on-tap event. So when a character is tapped or clicked on, then it will do an action. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Scratch Junior for us to take a look at how to build this program. Okay. And so when you're on Scratch Junior, you can click the plus to start a new program. And then when it opens up, depending on if you are on a desktop or the iPad, you might see Scratch here, or you might see a cat here. But to start this program, we are going to get rid of this starting character, which you can do by pressing and holding on the character. You can also delete the character by pressing and holding over here in the characters column and clicking X. Now for this lesson, we are doing a camouflage scene. So we are going to pick a background where a lizard could camouflage into. So up at the top of the Scratch Junior screen, there's a little photograph icon. If you click that, then you will see all of the different backgrounds that you can pick from. We're gonna just pick this simple jungle one, and then click the check mark to add it to your screen. But now we need our character, which is going to be a lizard that will be able to camouflage into this scene. So to add a character, you can come over to the characters column and click the plus. Okay, and you can see there are a lot of characters to pick from, but we are going to click on the lizard. Now, if you notice here, the lizard is blue, and that is not going to camouflage in very well. So instead of clicking the check mark to add it to the scene, click on the paintbrush, and now we can actually paint this lizard to turn it a different color. With the paint tool, over here, you can see this paint bucket. That's to fill in with a certain color. So then you can select green as the color. And once it's selected, it's being a little bit slow today. Okay. Then you can click on the lizard and it will turn the lizard green. And then once the lizard is green, or the color that you want it, you can click the check mark to add the lizard to the screen. So now we have a camouflaged lizard on the screen. So these steps should now be completed, as well as these ones, turning the lizard green and adding it to the screen. Now we are going to start programming our lizard character to do an action once it is clicked. So we're going to start with a start on tap event block. And what this block is going to do is it's going to trigger the lizard to start an action once it is clicked on. So back in Scratch, if you click the yellow button all the way over at the side, then you will see the different event blocks. There is an event block for when having the program start when a green flag is clicked, or for when a character is bumped into. But again, we're going to start with the start on tap block for this program, so that when the lizard is clicked, something will happen. But right now, nothing is happening because we don't have another block clicked onto this yet. So next, we will go over to this purple button, and you can drag over this speech bubble block, which is the say block. And in this, you will type in something for the lizard to say. So this lesson is about camouflage. So the lizard can say something like, "My green color makes me hard to see," illustrating that the green color is camouflaging the lizard. Now, if students are not able to use a keyboard to type this out, they can also come over to this green button and they can click the microphone and record themselves saying a sentence, essentially the same thing. They can say something like, "My green color makes me hard to see." And then they can click the check mark. And now this block, which has the recording I just did, will be, it will be inside this block. So you can attach this instead of the say block here. But for the purposes of our meeting, I'm just going to use the say block still. Okay, and the next thing that we want the lizard to do is to blend in completely with the environment. So we're going to go back to the purple button and use this block that's just the outline of a person. This is the hide block, and it will make the lizard hide after it tells us about its green color. So now, when I run the program, if I click on the green lizard, it's going to say, "My green color makes me hard to see," and then it will hide and blend in with the background. To get the lizard back, to start the program again, you can click this button and reset it. Okay, so that is the basics for the first lesson, the Scratch Junior lesson. Again, students can either use the microphone or the say block to tell how color helps the lizard survive, and then add a hide block to the end. A couple of extensions that you can do to continue on with this program is you can add move blocks to make the lizard move before it hides. You can add a second page with a different environment, like a desert, or you can add a different living thing and show how that living thing survives in the environment. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes or so to continue your program, add some of these extensions. There is a link on this slide so that you can share a picture of your project when you're done, if you're able to do a screenshot of any extensions that you do. Then we will take a look at the Scratch program after this one. Okay, so we will go ahead and move into our Scratch program next. Let's take a look. So in the Scratch program, we are going to be creating a drawing app. Students will be using the pen extension, which some students may be familiar with, some may not have seen yet. But it's a really cool extension, and you can do a lot more things with Scratch using it. And they're also going to be using when key pressed event blocks to make this an interactive program that users can come onto the program and make their own drawings. A couple of things to keep in mind. There is a solution code found in the lesson plan. So if you're not sure how to solve a certain problem, you can always reference the solution code. This program also uses the pen extension. We're going to walk through how to add that together. But if you forget, the lesson plan also shows you how you can add it. And also, this lesson does require a keyboard. So on a tablet, there will be limited functionality with this program. In this program, we will be programming the Scratch cat to lift and lower the pen on the canvas using the up and down arrows of the keyboard, and then to make a line thicker and thinner using the left and right keys on the keyboard. So the first thing that we need to do is visit Scratch, which again, you can find just with this link here. And once you're in Scratch, you can click Create. So I will go ahead and pull that open here. If you click Create, and students do not have to be logged in to do this program, but their program will only be saved if they are logged in. But clicking Create will bring them here anyway. And so that is where we are going to start. Then let me pull this back up. There we go. Okay. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is install the pen extension then. So going back to Scratch. To install any extension, you can come down here to this blue Add Extension block in the corner. And there are several extensions that you can feel free to explore and let your students explore later on, but we're going to use the pen extension today. So if you click it, then the pen section of blocks is added and we get all of these new blocks. So to start our program, we are going to use a when green flag clicked block, and this is going to tell our program to start just as soon as the green flag is clicked. Here we're going to have a couple of starting conditions, and starting conditions are just things we want to happen every time the program starts. So we're going to start with a pen up block, which tells the Scratch Cat to stop drawing because the pen is up, so it's lifted off the paper. We are also going to add an erase all so that each time the program starts, it will be a blank canvas. And then we're going to set the pen size to, let's start the pen size at 5, which is a pretty easy number. So now we have our starting conditions, and you can add each of these blocks to your program. The next thing that we need to do is we need to tell the Scratch Cat how to move in order to draw on this canvas. So we're going to go to the motion blocks and add in a go to block, but instead of random position, we're going to change this to mouse pointer so that whenever our mouse is on the screen, the Scratch Cat should follow this, our mouse pointer, but in order for the cat to continuously follow the mouse pointer for the whole program, we're going to wrap it in a forever loop. So now when I click the green flag, you'll see that the cat goes everywhere that my mouse goes. But right now, because the pen is up, this cat is not drawing. So let's go ahead and program the cat to draw. We're going to go to events first and drag over this when key pressed block. For this one, we want to program the Scratch Cat to when the up arrow is pressed to draw. So we're going to put up arrow in here, and then I'm also going to make a duplicate of this block and do the down arrow key for the second one so that the cat will put the pen back down for the down arrow. So then back in the pen blocks, you can use add the pen up block to when up arrow key is pressed, and the pen down block for the down arrow key. And now when I start this program, nothing is happening now, but if I click the down arrow on my keyboard, you'll see the cat starts to draw. And when I click up, then the cat stops drawing again. So we have the first part of our drawing app done. The cat can now draw and stop drawing using the buttons on the keyboard. The next thing we are going to do is program the drawing to change the pen size based on which arrow key we press. So again, we're going to go to events and do another key pressed block, but this time we're going to do the left arrow and the right arrow. And so for the left arrow, we'll go back down to pen, and we will change the pen size. For the left arrow, that's backwards, so we can change it by -1. So the lines will get smaller. And then for the right arrow, we will have the pen size change by 1, so it will get bigger. So now if I click the green flag, my program will start to run. And now if I click the right arrow, you'll see that my pen size gets bigger. And then as I click the left arrow, it gets smaller again. Now we have a pretty complete drawing app. We're able to change the pen size. We're able to put the pen up and down to continue drawing. But we can add another feature to this as well. So I'm going to go back to events and bring over the when space key pressed. And for this one, I am going to have the pen color change. So every time the space key is pressed, the color of the pen will change by 10. So if I go back into here and I start drawing, if I press the space bar, you'll see that the color changes every time I press the space bar. And so now I can change the size of a line, I can put the pen up and down, and I can change color. So now we have a complete drawing app in Scratch. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple of the extensions that students can do in this program as well. Hold on. There we go. Okay, we're going to go past these. So once students have finished coding their drawing app, they can draw something using their drawing app. They can also add or change different features. Students can take a look at the different pen blocks and see what else they can do. They can also try playing with numbers and seeing how their program changes if they have the line thickness change by more, or if they change the amount that the color changes each time the program runs. If you are online with us, you can go ahead and add your project to this studio when you're finished adding some extensions, and that will just let everyone else see each other's work. And I'll give you just a minute to do that. Okay, great. So we can go ahead and move on now to just a couple of tips to help you run the most successful hour of code you can with your students, whether you're bringing them the Scratch Junior Camouflage lesson or the Scratch Coding a Drawing App lesson. So first, it's important to go ahead and read through the lesson plan and try to complete the program ahead of time. If you're watching this, then hopefully you were able to complete both programs with me. Also, give students, plan about 45 to 60 minutes to complete this lesson with students. We went through things pretty quickly, but students are going to have a couple more questions and might take a little bit longer to do some of the steps than we did. I apologize if you can hear sirens in the background. It's a little bit noisy over here. Also, it's a great idea when students have finished their program to encourage students to share their work with the rest of the class. Hopefully they have enough time to add their own creativity to the lesson, create their own drawings, make their own camouflage scene once they finish with the basic one. And provide your students with a lot of encouragement, support, and enthusiasm. Remember, again, the goal is for students to have a lot of fun with this. So if they don't get everything correct the first time, they shouldn't, and that's okay. Bring them a lot of encouragement, bring them excitement, and help them have a lot of fun with this so that they can pursue some more computer science in the future. Something that is probably going to happen while students are working on either of these programs is they might get stuck. Debugging is a huge part of computer science, and it's also something that can be frustrating, especially when a student is just starting out. So you can use some of these phrases to help your students along, to help them figure out what's wrong with their program and get it back to where it should be. So again, these questions are just kind of asking what could be wrong here, thinking about different parts that might not be working as they should, looking at what point or what part of your program is breaking down. Maybe they can see if they can make the bug happen a second time. Or isolating just one block or one element to fix at a time. Okay, so that is the basis for how you can bring Hour of Code to your classroom by teaching your students yourself, which is an awesome way for students to start to learn because they're hearing it from their teacher. But we do have a couple of other ways that you can bring Hour of Code to your classroom throughout the first week of December. The first of this is we have a couple of pre-recorded lessons. We have a pre-recorded camouflage lesson and the drawing app lesson. And so you can share this lesson with students or project the video on the board and pause the video at the designated spots to have students code along with the video instead of presenting the slides to them yourself. Whoops. Hi, in this lesson, we are going to create. Sorry, the video started to play. Okay. We also have some live Hour of Code workshops happening on December 6th and December 8th. Both of these Hour of Code workshops are being led by somebody here at CodeHS. On Tuesday, we will be looking at the Create a Drawing App with Scratch, and on Thursday, they will be looking at Program a Story in Scratch Junior, which is not one of the ones that we reviewed today. This is a student-facing workshop, so you can sign in, you can have students on their own devices signing in, or you can project it to the students in the classroom and come up with questions to ask the panelists and as they are coding along with us on those events. To register for those events, you can take a look at this link here at the bottom. This link is also where you can find both of those pre-recorded workshops from the previous slide as well. If you also teach middle school or high school in addition to elementary, we also have some live Hour of Code workshops for the middle and high school level. We have Generating Art with Code, Coding in Music, Creating Virtual Worlds, and turtle graphics with Tracy the Turtle. All of these also are student facing and led by somebody here at CodeHS who will be teaching and walking students through how to do each program. Okay, thank you for watching and learning how to run the hour of code with your elementary students with us today. I hope that you were able to successfully create the programs, and I can't wait to see and hear about what students are creating in the classroom.